Before we could get there, and we can do that, let's work through the distinctions of leader, manager, and follower. In order to do that, we're going to have to first know the difference between follower and leader. Now, you'd think this was easy, right? What could be more different than a leader and a follower? And I've asked this question to literally thousands of people, and only once has someone actually gotten it right. So what do you think? What do you think the core difference between follower and leader is? Now, what I often get are things like a leader's visionary. A leader has the vision, the followers do it. A leader is inspirational. A leader dictates actions, followers take actions. Now, whenever I get all those definitions, I just have to ask, all the time? And the answer is no. Well, sometimes leaders are visionary and sometimes they aren't. Sometimes they create the direction, the followers take action, but oftentimes leaders take action too. So I'm looking for the difference that is universal, right? It doesn't matter time, domain, situation, business, family, it doesn't make a difference. And this is the absolutely core difference between follower and leader, universally acceptable, and that is time and situation. And I guarantee the vast majority of you out there did not see that one coming. Right? I could ask the question, how many of you are leaders? Raise your hand. Now, many of you would have raised your hand and some of you wouldn't. And anytime I teach live, I'll always pick someone that doesn't raise their hand and I'll ask, well, why aren't you a leader? They say, well, I'm new here. This is my favorite one. Well, I'm new here. It's my second day. Okay, so you're a follower. So do you have a wife, kids, family? Usually the answer is yes. So do you ever lead your kids? And they say yes. So then why didn't you raise your hand? Right? Because they were stuck in the fact that they are a follower in this particular situation or this particular domain of business. They lose the fact that they actually lead quite often at home. So all of us lead at some point and all of us follow at some point, sometime, some situation. Now, if you agree with this, and you have to because it's true, if we all lead and follow and switch roles constantly depending on the time and situation, then this follows. Leadership is not a trait, it's represented by actions. Now this is a key part, right? This is a key distinction, right? Most of you think of leadership as a trait like hair color or eye color, that you're born a leader. And the reality is that's not the case at all. And I learned this lesson when I was 18 years old and went to the Naval Academy, July 1st, 1994. I showed up and I always believed that leadership was something that you were born with. And then I went into a school that had, at that time, a 150-year tradition of training leaders, of taking silly little midshipmen, plebes as we called them, and turning them into effective naval officers. And that was done through a whole lot of learning, a whole lot of practice, and a whole lot of experience. You can train leadership. Now, all of us have different predispositions, right? All of us have different makeups, backgrounds, genetics, neural makeups. So our potential for leadership may be different, right? My potential for leadership may be up here and your potential for leadership may be way up here. But the one thing I know for sure is none of us are living up to our potential right now. We all have room for improvement. But regardless of that, the core fact is we are all leaders, right? We all lead, we all follow, and we switch back and forth depending on our actions. Now, I want to take a moment and ensure that you really take this on. You are a leader. You've always been a leader. And your job is just to become more effective at it. Now, that's one thing for you, but what if you have children? How different would your life have been if someone would have told you, made you not believe, but know, right? No faith, no hope. You knew that you were a leader. Imagine how that would have changed your life. So I want to take this moment and have you think about, who do you need to share this message with, right? Who do you need to know, to have them know that they are a leader and you see them as such, right? That could change your spouse's life. It could change your children's lives. It could change someone that you work with, for, or works for you. So it's important to understand that leadership's not a trait, it's represented by actions. Now, with this, as I've said, I'm very precise with language, and we all bring with us this amazing background of experience, and it's always different. And I know you have all sorts of baggage around the word leader, around the word follower, around the word manager. And so with that, I coined a new term, lead follower. Because I think this one is a lot more applicable to what we actually mean. A lead follower is someone that knows that sometimes they lead, sometimes they follow, and they switch back and forth. Lead following with someone else is all about being in that action of switching back and forth between leading and following, depending on who has the best distinctions, is making the best choices, and taking the most effective actions. Because ultimately, that's what's key. When it comes to leading, let's look at it this way. Say all of us were in a classroom. We're in that classroom, and I bet you could imagine that I'm a bit of a pyromaniac, right? That's one of the prerequisites to being a SEAL, is really liking fire. So I'm in the classroom, and it just so happens that I set up a little fire, and the desk light's on fire. It starts to burn. Now we're in this classroom, and I go towards the windows, which are security, right? So they got the wire in it, and I take a chair, and I'm banging the chair on the window, trying to open the windows, yelling, "Follow me." And one of you walks to the door of the classroom, opens the door, and yells, "Follow me." So who are you going to follow? Right? I'm obviously the leader because I'm the teacher of the class. You're going to follow me, right? You're going to wait till I bust a hole in the window and we're all going to leave through the window. No, that's silly. You're going to follow the person that's made a better choice and taken a more effective action by opening a door that's easy to get out of. So you all run out the door and follow that guy. Now we go into the hallway, and I'm a major pyro, so I actually started a fire in the hallway too. So it's a T hallway, and you can turn right or you can turn left. If you turn right, you go back towards the fire that I set out there. Now the guy that opened the door, he turns right and is yelling, "Follow me," and he's running towards the fire in the hallway, and someone else is running the other direction saying, "Follow me." Which person do you follow? Well, obviously you follow the guy down the hallway towards the fire because he's the leader, right? You already said he was the leader because you followed him out the door. Of course not, right? That's silly. He all of a sudden started making less effective choices, leading to less effective actions, which means you're going to immediately switch to the person making more effective choices, leading to more effective actions, and run down the hallway that there's no fire. So I know it's a silly story. I just like even just the thought of lighting stuff on fire. But think about it. We always follow the person that is making the most effective choices and taking the most effective actions. That is leading. So leading isn't about a title. Leading is about taking effective actions.